Hey guys, Angry Beast here, and this is just some objective gameplay playing on Dome with my SPAS-12 shotgun. Um, this gun has to be one of the most symbolic weapons in Call of Duty that I can think of. I mean, everybody knows the horror that was the SPAS-12 in Modern Warfare 2. Everybody knows how deadly this thing was with the silencer in Black Ops. And everybody knows in this game this thing's a piece of crap. But I got my extended mags and damage. This was the first shotgun I actually ranked up. I decided that, hey, if it's any decent unranked, then it'll probably be decent ranked up. It took me about a week to get this up, playing with it on and off, an hour a day. So, this is probably one of the more difficult shotguns to rank up all the way, besides maybe the AA-12. That thing's by far the worst shotgun in the game, but I did enjoy playing with it. I mean, it's fun when you get those good 3 or 4 man sprays, which I get a couple of this game. And I'm using the support kill streaks in this game, mainly because, when you're using a shotgun, you need every advantage you can get. And those ballistic vests and those UAVs can really give you that advantage. Ooh, nice C4 kill there. But when you're using the shotguns, you definitely want to have that damage proficiency, especially on the SPAS-12. You could make a case for range, but I feel that range doesn't help the SPAS as much as damage, because this gun is so inconsistent up close. You need every little advantage you can get. Before the patch, pre-patch with extended mags and damage, this gun was a monster. Even extended mags and range, this gun was a monster. I absolutely love this gun with extended mags and range. I don't understand why they had to patch that glitch. It made this gun amazing. But sadly, that was a time of the past, and now we have to deal with the shotguns without the extended mag glitch, which really has made them pretty much worthless. I mean, the one thing that this shotgun had going for it was extremely high power up close with extended mags. So, there's not much you can do in that situation, and you just got to deal with what Infinity Ward's giving you. This gameplay, I'm just going to say right now, is not the best score, but I feel like I helped our team come back from behind quite a bit here. I mean, at one point we're down by like 20 points or so, and we're getting triple capped, and I just decided to go out and go ham with my shotgun. But this map is really the only map where I'd recommend using a SPAS-12. I mean, there aren't too many other maps that I feel really play to the shotgun strengths other than Dome. And even on Dome, you'll find in long lines of sight where the shotguns are just ineffective. I'd say the only effective range of the shotguns in this game is about 10 feet in front of your face. If they're anywhere further than that, even though you'd think, oh, it's a shotgun, it'll be effective, you're not going to have much luck. I mean, half the gunfights you're in, you're going to be without a weapon. And as you can see coming up right here, I shoot this guy at least 3 times, and he's still not dead. And luckily, I do end up getting the kill, but in my opinion, that's a little bit ridiculous for a shotgun that's so close, and I'm still getting hit markers with it. But, I didn't make the game. Apparently, Infinity Ward thinks shotguns should be worthless. Although I do have to say that after Modern Warfare 2 SPAS-12, which I honestly didn't have much problems with, but you see people like Sandy Ravage getting long shots up to 16 meters with it, something had to be done. I mean, if you had shotguns like that in this game, this would be an absolutely dominated game with shotguns. And it'd be interesting to see a Call of Duty that was dominated with shotguns. That's never happened before. And Call of Duty 4 was dominated by assault rifles and submachine guns, namely the M16 and MP5. In Modern Warfare 2, it was dominated by the noob tubes. In Black Ops, it was assault rifles. You get the FAMAS. And in Modern Warfare 3, it seems like there's a lot of submachine guns, and the assault rifles generally go untouched. Maybe in Black Ops 2, they can make the shotguns usable, so it's a shotgun-dominated game. I think that'd be really interesting. I want to point out a mistake I made here. I thought for sure that was a fake care package, and it turns out this guy got a freaking Osprey gunner from it. And so I decided to switch up to my my anti-air class here, because I felt responsible for letting him get the Osprey gunner, because I was sure that it would be a fake care package. And those are the mistakes you occasionally make, and you live and you learn. I mean, from now on, I'm gonna go up and check every care package myself, because there's just you really can't afford giving up an Osprey gunner for your teammates. It's something you just can't afford to do. So I decided to be the better man and take out the air support myself, which is something that at times it can be frustrating, especially if you've earned the Osprey gunner legit. But if you're getting it from a 4-kill streak, I think it's in your best interest to destroy it. I mean, if someone had built up the 16 kills themselves, it's a different story. I mean, like with my M16 gameplays, if I had built up my Osprey gunner, got shot down instantly after I had worked hard to build up the 16 kills for it, then I can understand someone getting mad at shooting it down. But when you're earning a kill streak from a care package that you only got 4 kills to get a 16 kill streak, there's just something a little bit wrong about that. And I honestly have problem shooting down a normal uh, a, a support Osprey gunner either, because those are really just, in my opinion, not that good. I pick up the Scar L here, and man, I actually go on a pretty nice tear with this thing. I don't use the Scar too much, in my opinion. It's one of the least useful assault rifles, but it does have, from what I picked up here, has pretty low recoil. I do have a gameplay that I'll post in a while coming up here, and I'm using the Scar L, and in my opinion, this gun is inferior to the one in Modern Warfare 2. There really isn't too many advantages to using it over something like the ACR. But it is usable. I mean, it is a very worthwhile gun if you can spend the time to get used to the feel of it. As far as the shotguns go, getting a feel for how they play in the map is really difficult. You're either going to come into situations where you're always having good luck up close, or you're going to have situations where you're never getting any good luck up close. And that's just the way this game plays. I mean, sometimes you'll be on a hot streak and you'll be doing great with the shotgun, and then 2 seconds later, your shotgun does nothing up close. For consistency, I've seen a couple things around the web on what could be done to make the shotguns more consistent. And probably the number one thing that I could say that's kind of interesting is making the shotgun spread consistent. Now, as it is right now, the shotgun spread is completely random. You shoot and it goes into 8 random locations in the middle of your crosshairs. And that works okay. I mean, sometimes you get the occasional long shot where all the pellets group up in the center, and it's usually pretty evenly distributed, but the problem comes in is where you fire a shot, and 6 of the pellets go to the right, and only 2 go to the left, and you're shooting a guy who's in the bottom left of your crosshairs, and all the pellets on the left go to the top. That means none of your pellets will hit it, even though you're directly on the enemy. So, in that situation, I can understand a set pellet spread. If you had an evenly distributed pellet spread, where you have like 8 pellets evenly distributed around a circle, and where you aimed, you knew that's exactly how the pellets would go, no matter what. That could be interesting. Or maybe there should be an attachment. Let's say you have a fixed spread shotgun, or heck, even let us have a slug for our shotguns. It has like certain multipliers, so it's still possible to get 1 shots with a slug. And it just becomes more consistent. And you know, consistency is a hard thing, because you want shotguns to be something that's usable for sure, but you don't want them to be completely overpowered in that they can kill very consistently up to 15-20 meters. Although, in all actuality, I mean, a shotgun that can't kill up to 20 meters is pretty much useless, in my opinion. Especially if it's inconsistent up close as well, because the whole point of using a shotgun is getting close to someone and tearing them apart. If you can't get a consistent kill up to a good distance, then there's no real reason to use it. It's hard enough getting close with a shotgun. Yes, you run at 100% speed, but you're completely unarmed until you enter that 20-meter distance approximately. Ooh, nice C4 kill there. But until you get in that distance, you're completely unarmed, and that's a problem. When you're unarmed in a gunfight, in a lot of situations, you're just gonna lose. I mean, unless you're a beast of a player and you can get close enough before the enemy can get 3 shots on you, you're not gonna have time to get your 1 shot with a shotgun that you need to get a kill. So another thing I've heard around the web is to increase the movement speed of shotguns by 10%, make them 100% movement speed weapons. And that's a very, very interesting way to balance it, because in that situation, you're not changing the damage, you're not changing the range, you're just changing how fast you can get into the effective range. And while that may sound good in theory, what I think would end up happening is it would make assault rifles and snipers a lot harder to use. If you get an enemy running a shotgun at 110%, and you're trying to snipe him, it's very hard to aim the snipers already, in my opinion, especially if you're trying to hardscope. So it makes it even more difficult for you to try and snipe a person who's running 110% speed. If you just try and snipe a guy using specialist bonus with submachine gun, it's very hard to hit it. And if you made the shotgun's base run at 110%, and you get specialist bonus on top of that, then you're going to be running at a whopping 121%. And it's going to be pretty much impossible to hit you with a sniper. But, you know, in some situations that could be balanced. I mean, it'd take a lot of playtesting, and that's the thing. It's hard to balance a shotgun because shotguns are so connection dependent in this game that, you know, Infinity Ward can't test all the situations we're in. It's so dependent on lag at some points that it doesn't seem in your best interest to even try to attempt to use a shotgun, especially if you're not playing if you're not host. Now, if you're host, it's a little bit different of a story, but especially since they added that lag compensator thing, it's less useful because you're shooting at a guy who on your screen you're hitting. Even if you are the host, you have to wait 30 milliseconds for that connect with all the other players. Not to mention, you have to wait for it to connect in other situations. But you know, it ends up coming down to shotguns are usable and they're a lot of fun to use, but they take a lot of skill to use, and that's why I like using them. You know, they take skill that other weapons don't have. I hope you guys enjoyed. This ends up being something like 38 and 36 and 25 with the SPAS-12. I'm Angry Beast, and I'm signing out. I'll catch you guys in my next video.